you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Playing on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. He's Pierre McGuire. I'm Jimmy Murphy, and it's time for another on-campus Friday, Pierre. Feels like we just got back from the Friendship Four in Belfast, but it's already been 2 weeks, and we are on our second on-campus since that great trip, and we are really excited about this one, Pierre, because we have probably the most talked about player in college hockey right now is about to join us here from Boston College. He's a Washington Capitals prospect, and he is lighting it up at the college ranks right now. Boston College forward Ryan Leonard joining us here on the Eye Test. Ryan, how are you?
Hi, guys. Good. How are you?
Great.
We're excellent, Ryan. Good to visit with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are you in the middle of finals right now, or?
No, I actually got the opportunity to come home yesterday. My
okay.
finals, I was lucky enough, most of my finals are projects, so I didn't really have to stay till the last day at school. So getting able to have a little bit of time with my family before head over to Ottawa.
Nice.
You excited for Ottawa?
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. My family hasn't had the opportunity to really see me internationally just because with the work that they have. So being so close to Ottawa, it's gonna be a lot of fun with a lot of family members there for sure.
What's obviously there's a lot of players that you've grown accustomed to playing against, playing with, that you will be playing with now on Team USA. What's it been like kind of over the years, whether it's at camps or different select teams, building that chemistry and then being able to put it together there when you get to the World Juniors?
Yeah, I think they do a great job in the summer with the summer showcase. Whether you're going to make the team or not, everyone's a part of everything that goes on there, whether it's team building activities, whether we're doing funny things like that, going to Dave & Buster's, doing little things like that, just kind of coming together. That's kind of always been like a staple. They've always brought everyone to Dave & Buster's. So, I mean, you're there for a couple hours and it's not really something you're like, oh my God, I needed to go to Dave & Buster's, but it's just the relationships you kind of build there. And just the community that the team brings in, and everyone just becomes so close over time. And once you get to December, it's a lot of fun.
Speaking of chemistry, there's no better chemistry in college hockey than Perreault and Leonard. But you're smiling now, but what are you going to do when you play against him? He's going to be with the Rangers. You're going to be with Washington. That's one of the most ferocious matchups in the National Hockey League. What are you going to do with him then?
I don't know. That's a problem for another day. I don't know. He's a special player.
That chemistry is spectacular to watch. How do you explain it? When did you know it would come together?
Yeah. Well, I've been fortunate enough to play with him and Will for the past. We were on a line together for strictly 2 years, just game in and game out. Every game was together. So that was a lot of fun. And then now going into the third season with Gabe, it's kind of weird to think about sometimes how long we've been playing together. But you kind of know where he is at all points of the game, and he's really going to get you the puck, and both of our tendencies and what you're going to really do out there. So it's pretty easy, and it's really fun for sure.
You mentioned Will. Obviously, he moved on to the NHL. Take us back to when you were kind of wavering over that and making that decision whether to go back to Boston College or move ahead to the next level. What kept you at Boston College?
Yeah, I had to lean on my brother for sure a lot on that. A lot of credit goes to him. It was whenever we got back, the Capitals gave me a couple of days just to debrief and kind of still be at college before anything really hit me, I guess. And then my agent told me we're going to get on a Zoom call with Brian McClellan at the time, that it was an afternoon, and they played like 2 days later before like one of their last games in the regular season. So and then obviously they had the opportunity they said, if I'm ready, I can come. If not, then they're going to back me up and do whatever I needed to do to get there, hopefully after the end of this year. And then that kind of just hit me like, wow, this is real now. Mm. And then because I never anticipated going to school for 1 year and then leaving. It was always a 2-year process or a 3-year process. Just wanted to be fully ready. And then talking with my brother, making a big pros and cons list of what really I want to do. And ultimately it came down to coming back to school, being a leader for the team, being overly ready in college hockey to go to the next level. And I'm very happy with my decision for sure.
Everybody's happy except for the people you have to play against. But that's okay. You've earned that. I'm going to say something that's probably going to make you uncomfortable. I think you're the leading candidate to win the Hobie Baker Award. I haven't seen too many players at your age dominate the game physically and athletically like you do. How do you feel you're playing right now?
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that compliment. That means a lot. I feel like I'm doing my part here, just trying to do whatever I can, whether being a little bit more reliable this year on the penalty kill, being overly ready for the team, and being out there in different situations. Last year, they kind of leaned on Cutter to really be out there and kind of take over games, and I really tried to do that for when the time's right and try to be the big backbone of the team. Obviously, Fowler back there in net, he's the ultimate backbone, but Fowler can't score goals and he can't really talk to the bench throughout the game. So trying to be the biggest glue guy on the team and try to really help out anyone, and just try to always do the right thing, and obviously produce for the team when needed.
Yeah, I want to take you back last spring. You guys get really close to winning it all there. How much has that stuck with you, that experience and the motivation to get back there again?
Yeah, all the returners know that for sure. Whether it's just thinking about the second half, like we just had our end of the year meeting it was 2 days ago now, Tuesday. So talk about it, and once Christmas hits and you come back from Christmas break, it's a little bit different hockey. Everyone's really playing all they got now because you really got to make that push. Like you even saw Michigan last year was pretty much middle of the pack, if not like 20, 25, and they go on that run, and next thing you know, they're in the Frozen Four. So, I mean, there's really no bad team in college hockey, and you really can't take any team for granted. And we've learned that this year with a couple tough games that we probably shouldn't have lost so far, but I mean, it's a learning experience. So everyone's really going to be ready for the second half, and all the returners know how hard it is to get back to that game. So we've really hit on this year. It's a whole different team, and you really got to take it week in, week out.
You're a gold medal winner at the World Junior. You did it last year in Sweden. A lot of your teammates at Boston College were part of that team. The same coaching staff's going back, led by David Carl. A little bit of a different team, obviously, but a lot of the same guys back too, Ryan. As you know, the environment's different. I broadcast a lot of World Juniors, and I spent a lot of time in Ottawa. What have they told you about the environment you're about to go into in Ottawa?
Not a whole lot. I'm sure we'll get a lot when we get there this weekend. And then once the team's fully made up and who's going to be going there. But, I mean, I think everyone kind of knows how crazy that Canadian environment is. And then obviously the big game on most people's calendar is that New Year's Eve game. So I don't really know what that game's going to look like or what the emotions are going to be going into that, but I know it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And yeah, we're all super excited for the task for sure.
When you look at the World Junior experience, I remember having a conversation with Charlie McAvoy. I think Pierre will know the year. It was the year they won up in
2017
in the Bell Center. Yeah, in the Bell Center in Montreal. And he said one of the biggest experiences he got from that was what Pierre's talking about, going into a hostile environment, the belly of the beast, so to speak, and shutting that crowd up. When you go into these type of games, how much are you letting that sink in and then taking it with you as you go forward in your career?
Yeah, I think you got to do a little bit of both for sure, because you never really know. Being in college hockey, you kind of get that little experience where there's no really fans when you go to a certain place. Like I'm kind of anticipating playing in Ottawa a little bit different, but sort of the same idea as playing in Maine. Maine's horrible. it's horrible to play in, but you got to bring your own energy, and you gotta really just find a way within your team, whether like at Maine, they got guys hanging over you, yelling at you, doing everything they can to really get in your face. So I'm sure that's what it's going to be like, but you kind of got to learn from it, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
You talked about Jacob Fowler before. I've been around this game a long time, and I think he's one of the best goaltending prospects I've seen since Marty Brodeur. How does he look in practice when you have to play against him?
Yeah, not too fun. So, I don't know. You say that, and then just some. I don't know if you guys know that save he made last year in the Hockey East Finals when he jumped across the goal line. Mm-hmm. I think he did that 3 times this week in practice or last week. It's just weird, honestly. It's you take him when you can get him on that guy, and honestly, he makes all of us better. You get in the game, you have more confidence because he's the best goalie in college hockey, and you can beat any other goalie if you can beat him right now, honestly. So I love shooting on him either on a different, like before practice, after practice, just whenever I get the opportunity, just because I know it's helping myself out and obviously him too. So he's a lot of fun, and he's definitely a great part of this team.
Jimmy, you know what I liked about that answer? It's a mature answer, but it shows you that if you have a goalie like that, the Devils used to say that about Brodeur. The Canadians used to say that about Patrick Roy. Yeah, I didn't rehearse this with Ryan. That's so letter perfect, because if you talk to the best players that played against those top goalies, even the guys in Chicago when Eddie Belfour was there, they'll tell you the same thing. And Ryan, that's such a good answer, because that's how I see Jacob. I see him being that good a force for your group.
He's awesome.
Bruins used to say that about Rask a lot too, Pierre. It's a great point. Ryan, I just want to ask you quick. We've had your coach now, Greg Brown, on this podcast twice. He's great. He's always so insightful. But what has he been like for you as a coach? What have you learned from him over the years?
Yeah, I think going into last year, I didn't really get to really know him too well, just because being recruited by Jerry. So I met with him a couple of times before stepping into campus, but he's great. He really lets you do your own thing out there, but there's definitely a lot of guidance too. So last year, when talking about like the decision whether to go or to come back, and he was fully on my side with either decision I was going to make, but he was super happy when I decided to come back, and working on things with him. It's just where he's been in the game and who the people he met and the connections he had with the Rangers. It's awesome. Just he has so much knowledge up there, and he's great for our team.
It's interesting. I know where you live, and I know where your brother went to school, University of Massachusetts at Amherst, where your good friend Jimmy Murphy's an alum. Cale Makar did the same thing that you're about, or you have done. And his second year, he wins the Hobey Baker and wins a national championship. He never saw the inside of a bus in the American Hockey League. I think you've done the right thing. I think you're a really good poster guy for young players and the development that extra year. How hard a decision for you, Ryan, was it? Forget your brother, forget your parents, forget your agent, Matt Gator. How hard or how comfortable were you when you had to make that decision?
Definitely uncomfortable. Even when you make that decision right away, you tell the Capitals, hey, I'm going to come back to school. And then you're sitting there like, oh my God, I want to leave. Oh my God, I want to stay. Like, it's just back and forth. Like, what do you do? And ultimately you have to make the decision you think is best for you. And obviously you have, like, I've surrounded myself with good enough people where I know that they're going to tell me the right things and not just the things that they want me to do. But it ultimately comes down to yourself and what you really want for yourself. So that decision was extremely hard, and definitely even at points this summer, they said, even if you want to rethink over the summer and talk at development camp, like, we'd be happy to do that. But I didn't really want to even think too much about that. I just kind of wanted to, I'm going back to school. That's what I'm doing. And once you kind of pick a side, you really just got to stick with it and be the most happy with it. And yeah, I for sure am.
Hey, Jimmy, before you ask a question, I just want Ryan to know this. I think you made the right decision. I think college hockey fans are really fortunate you're playing. People at Boston College really fortunate. but you're going to be the winner. And Capitals fans are going to love you for a long time, man. They are.
Thank you.
They're going to love you for a long time.
So Ryan, we put out a thing, and we got one question back, but we have a question from one of our viewers who watches us regularly. So we're going to post that question up here right now. If you can answer it, we appreciate it. So Lolo Land says, how do the Capitals player development staff work with you during the season? Has that changed from last season?
No, it hasn't really been too different, honestly. There's probably like a little bit more talk and anticipation that hopefully at the end of the year that I'll be there. But still, I'm still getting video clips of some things that are good for me and what really will help me at the next level. And I've seen the staff twice now at some of my games. They were there at the first Michigan State weekend, and then they were there at the Northeastern weekend because Joe LeMay was also there. He's another Capitals prospect. So it was good to see them there. And just hearing the feedback, it's not really a whole lot different, but there's definitely anticipation to kind of get there at the end of the year, hopefully. So it's not a whole lot different from last year, but they're really trying to get myself ready for that next level as quick as possible.
Who do you model your game after?
Kind of a couple people, honestly. I've always liked to watch Tom Wilson with the Capitals, and he's always been he's a fun player to watch. Alex Tuck for sure. Just with all these guys are really just power forwards who kind of do their job and play both sides of the puck very well. And then Matthew Tkachuk too, as well.
Nice. Going back, you talked about Joe LeMay. You also were familiar with Ryan McGuire. You saw at Caps prospect camp.
Yep.
What's that like seeing these guys around and then you go down there and you're in a pro camp with them?
Yeah, it's fun. Obviously, you like to build a relationship with the guys that are there and then guys that are ultimately the people in the organization too. Before you really get there, you want to put your best foot forward. So meeting those college guys and then I've played against Ryan, Joe, and then two guys on Dartmouth too as well this year. So, I mean, it's all familiar faces and it's fun out there. And then when you're at the camp, you're really just trying to have a good time and kind of be the best version of yourself and kind of really show people who exactly you are on and off the ice.
Hey, football's been really big at Boston College this year. But you guys seem to be the big story, though. Almost every single game I go to there or I watch on TV, there are not a lot of empty seats. Yeah. How does that mean? What does that mean to the team?
It's so fun. I mean, it's so fun. Like whether it doesn't really matter the game. I mean, this weekend or whenever we just played Monday night, that was a little bit different just with finals this week. So that's our one pass for the school that's not really selling out the place, I guess. But I mean, it doesn't matter our opponent. We played AIC at the start of the year and they're bottom of the league, but there was not a seat available there. So our student body does a great job with themes or whatever you want to call it for all the students to wear. So, I mean, it's so fun when you walk out there for the puck drop and the whole place is just erupting. And anytime there's a goal, it's ridiculous. It's just so fun to play in front of a student body like that.
Yeah, but you score enough goals. What about when Mr. Brightside comes on?
I was just gonna go.
No, we're in the locker room for that. We only get to see the videos online for that. I didn't know that was a thing until probably like halfway through last year it might have been the BU weekend, like second half, and Spin Chicklets was there and they posted that on their Instagram, and I was like, what? Like this I never even knew this goes down. So you can't even hear it from the locker room. So it's pretty cool though to see.
I was there a couple times this year, and I was like, whoa, this is really outstanding. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I remember I was at the Killers show at Boston College last May, and he gave up Go BC shout out when they sang that. That's how big it's getting, man. Like that they're actually recognized.
Yeah.
So
it's great.
It's good stuff. Hey, Ryan, listen, we want to thank you for taking the time.
Oh, no, he's not going yet. I'm not done yet.
Oh, gosh. I tried to get you out right. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So because World Junior, this is what we're focused on now for Rye, right? He's kind of, and he can tell you, Jimmy, when you go to the World Junior, you kind of have to divorce yourself from your team. Is that correct, Ryan? From your college team? Like, it's a different exercise.
Yeah.
So Canada, US, New Year's Eve, I've broadcast a bunch of those. I've been in the building for a lot. Is there a guy on Canada you say, we got to make sure he's out of the game? Like, we're going to make his life miserable.
I mean, yeah, I think obviously you see some of the prospects they have that are going there, but Gavin McKenna, Porter Martone are two guys that are kind of.
Can you say that name one more time? Just I want you to say that one more time.
Which one? Gavin McKenna?
Yeah.
Gavin McKenna or Porter Martone.
Good for you.
I think both those guys you really got to tip your cap to and what noise they're making around for themselves. It's going to be a fun game for sure, but the more you kind of get those guys, the minimal amount of puck touches and scoring chances will be the better. There'll be more of a chance for us to really kind of stop their offense, and they're probably going to be the more like leading their team for when they're looking for scoring areas like that. But those guys seem like special players, so it's going to be really fun to play against those guys and really see how good they really are. But yeah, I think those guys are two probably guys that kind of come to my mind right away.
This is not a hockey question. This is a personal question. I've been there before, just like you have. What's it like to be on foreign soil and watch the American flag get raised and hear your anthem when you're standing at the blue line?
I've been lucky enough to win 2 gold medals now, so it's crazy. There's no really better feeling than there really is, especially like when you're in a sold out place and either the whole place was yellow or hopefully this year the whole place is red. It's crazy, and the amount of emotion that you have and the pure excitement and joy that you have, and you just kind of conquered the hardest task in front of you, and you're doing it with 25 other guys that you're brothers now for life, and that team will never really be the same, and you really just came together for that 1 month, but you made a memory that'll last a lifetime.
Jimmy, that's the great Fred Sherrill. Win today, walk together forever. Well said, Ryan Leonard. Really well said. Good for you.
Thank you.
Well, we will let you go now, though, my man. Enjoy what little free time you have right now before you head out there. And best of luck in Ottawa.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right. Ryan Leonard joining us here on the eye test. Pierre, he's got it all together from what I can tell there. Really, like he gets it.
So Washington Capitals fans, and I hope a lot of them get to see this and witness it. You've been spoiled with Alexander Ovechkin and Tommy Wilson and Evgeny Kuznetsov and Nicky Backstrom and Johnny Carlson. You've had an amazing array of top-end superstar players. Ryan Leonard's going to be one of those guys.
Oh, yeah.
And in 15 years, you're going to say, wow, were we ever blessed to have that guy here?
Yeah.
He is a special player. The one thing I'd say really comfortably, there are not a lot of kids at his age that are that physically mature and able to dominate physically the way he does as an athlete. There are a lot of guys that are fast. There are a lot of guys that can shoot the puck. There are not a lot of guys that can do all those things and establish a level of physicality that nobody really wants. There are very few players that want to play against that. Yeah. There's some that cherish it, and he knows he's played against some of them, but there are a lot of them that don't want to go down that road just because he makes it a real rough road to play. He does. He makes it a real rough road to play.
Sure. It's going to be interesting. And, look, you look at BC too, Pierre, and like you mentioned, the chemistry he has with Perreault, they could get back. I think I could see them back there easily.
Oh, no, they can. So he touched on it, and I know it's kind of becoming, you're my social media guy, so I know it's become a big thing. I'm comparing Jacob Fowler to Marty Brodeur. What I'm saying is the characteristics between Brodeur and Fowler at the same age are amazing. They're just amazing, the characteristics. Yep. I would never be as presumptuous as to say that Jacob Fowler's better than Marty Brodeur because he hasn't accomplished what Brodeur has. But the athletic characteristics at the same age are there. They're there. And I haven't seen too many guys. In fact, I haven't seen any since Brodeur, even when he was a midget AAA player at Montreal Bourassa when he was 16 years old.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too many like Jacob Fowler. So they got the goaltending. They've got tremendous depth on defense. They've got quick strike offensive capability. Now, I don't know if it's as great as it was last year because remember, they had Cutter Gauthier last year.
Yeah.
They had Jack Malone playing in the 3-hole, who's playing in the American Hockey League right now. Like they had a lot of firepower last year.
Yep. Hagen's has been picking it up, though.
He is, and good for that kid because he's been scrutinized so much, obviously, because everybody thinks he's going to be 1, 2, or 3. You're right. It's a great point by you, Jimmy. The one thing I'd say is he's very fortunate as a young player to be playing between Perreault and Leonard.
Yep.
It's a different experience.
Yep.
You know, so he's got something that a lot of the other young guys didn't have.
Exactly.
You know.
And, one thing I can tell, I would think just from, talking to him there is, Pierre, we've talked to pro players, even Rex the other day, when a team gets as close as they did and they lose, the real pros keep that in the back of their head and they keep in the back of their mind. And it's constantly used as motivation. I could see him being that type of guy that he'll help, translate that into the dressing room and say, guys, we were there and we're getting back.
I'll give you 2 examples. Go watch their first game at Michigan State. Go watch their second game at Northeastern, even though they lost it. Go watch that game. And then go watch their game at Providence, which was on Nesson, where he scored 2 amazing goals to win the game in overtime.
Yeah, it was a weeknight game. Remember that?
Yeah. So you'll see what Jimmy's talking about. Those are just 3 games to back your point up because all those games were in the balance late. 2 times they won, 1 time they lost. But you watch this guy.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you,
he put the team on his back. That's a type of player.
He's capable of doing it. And what I like about it is and I say this as a compliment, not as a negative. There's a nasty edge that if you're going to play the way he plays, you have to have. Yep. And you can't just pick your spots. No. I'm glad that he brought up Alex Tuck. That's a good, Tommy Wilson's a good comparison as well. Those are guys that, he's kind of like.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I think he's got more pure finish than Alex Tuck. And I think he's got a little bit more refined skill set than Tommy. I don't know if he can do some of the things that Tommy can do, which Washington Capitals fans know what I'm talking about. And, the underrated part of Tommy is he's an elite penalty killer. He's not just a little bit good, Tommy Wilson. He's an elite penalty killer. I think eventually Ryan Leonard will become that. But what he did this going back the extra year,
it's great.
Jimmy, overripe, better than underdeveloped.
Well, that's all we said, and it's true. It's true. Good stuff there. Before we go on here, I do want to mention, as we said it the other day on Wednesday, and we reminded you yesterday, I will be down in Connecticut on Campus Friday. We'll be on the road on Friday, January 24th, 2025. The Connecticut Hockey Foundation will be holding its annual fundraiser during the Connecticut Ice Tournament at the state-of-the-art Martire Family Arena on the campus of Sacred Heart. Can't wait to get there, Pierre. Yep, and then you'll have the 4 NCAA Division I teams, men's teams from Connecticut. That's Quinnipiac and UConn, and then Sacred Heart and Yale in the second game. And all this is in honor of Jason Pagnay, who was a great hockey coach and a pillar in the hockey community of Connecticut, graduate of Avon Old Farms, who tragically passed away. So they've been doing a great job raising money for him in his honor. And for players that don't necessarily have the money to get to the next level, they're doing it right there. So looking forward to that, Pierre. And some other news too, as we keep telling you, and we'll keep reminding you now, we are gearing up for the 4 Nations. I know it's not till February, but it'll be here before we know it. And we now have a home to broadcast from in Montreal for the games there in the first week. We'll be at McLean's Public House. It's 1420 Peel Street. That's Upper Peel Street. So if you're walking up Peel from the Bell Center, you'll want to go up past the original McLean's on your left, cross over St. Catharines, and go up about 4 doors, and you're right there at McLean's Public House. We will be broadcasting live from there. We'll have an array of guests coming in with us to tee up the 4 Nations games, and we are securing, hopefully we'll be able to announce it soon, a place for the Boston games as well. So Pierre, lots going on with the 4 Nations, with college hockey, and Pierre, this weekend too, as we always do on Campus Friday, any games you're keen on in the college hockey world this week?
There's not a lot of league games because of exams, but I'll be watching a fair bit. I'll be going Saturday night up to North Andover to watch Northeastern at Merrimack, Scotty Borick's team against Jerry Keefe's team. So I'll be at that game. I know that the U.S., I think it's U18 team is going to be out east. They're playing at BU on Friday night, at New Hampshire on Saturday night. So I might sneak over on Friday night to go watch them at BU.
Okay.
A lot of good prospects there. So, and you know what? It's against your alma mater, but I know last night or on Wednesday night, was it Wednesday night or third? Where are we? Wednesday night. UMass BU, but it was the Cole Hudson show.
It was
the Cole Hudson show in the third period, boy. And Ryan Leonard was just talking about Washington Capitals draft picks. He's a Washington Capitals draft pick, and he put on a show and a half.
And he had a great interview, really humble kid too, like his brother. He had a great interview after that game, Pierre, where he was kind of owning it, saying, "This is where I need to be every game. I haven't been doing that enough for the team. I know I can be there, and it's my goal to do this more on a regular basis." So I thought that's a great sign, a sign of maturity for that kid.
You and I watched him practice a lot though over in Ireland, and one of the things that impressed me, his work habits and practice were elite. It didn't always work in the games, but when you see a guy practice like that, that bodes well in terms of development and in terms of skill level and in terms of commitment to being at the next level. Like Ryan Leonard does the same thing. You heard what he said. Shooting against Jacob Fowler, he makes me better. Yeah, I guess he does.
It does.
I guess he does.
It's good stuff. And Pierre, look back to the games this weekend too. 2 big games in the Big Ten. You got Wisconsin at Michigan.
Yes.
Michigan State, number 3 Michigan State at number 1 Minnesota. So that's a biggie. But the Michigan one's interesting because Michigan has kind of been sliding a bit lately.
In their last 2 games, they've been outscored 8-0, 6-0, and 2-0 at Minnesota. So that'll be interesting. And for Wisconsin, they're trying to get some, let's call it traction in the standings in the Big Ten. So that's a big test for them.
And speaking of getting traction, I love when Ryan was talking about how it's going to get fast paced now in the second half of the season. We got to get ready because you always tell it it's like a track meet. I mean, once you hit January, mostly conference games, boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, it's your tournament is here for your conference. So he understands that. You can tell he grasps that whole.
What was really cool? What he said? He said the Washington Capitals staff, they were at Michigan. They've been to 2 of my games. He knew Michigan State and Northeastern. He knew. He knew. So it shows you, this is for Caps fans. Like, they're not letting this just, okay, we got Ryan Leonard and he's going to show up. They're monitoring him really closely. And there are other guys they're monitoring too, free agents and some draft picks. He talked about Joe LeMay, who's had kind of an injury start. He had a concussion at the start of the year and he hurt his neck in the New Hampshire game last Friday. But they're watching a bunch of guys, and it shows you that a guy like Ryan Leonard, they're not just saying, okay, he's showing up. They're making sure he shows up as the best Ryan Leonard.
Yeah.
And I love that when teams are proactive like that. It's kind of a soft spot for me because that's how I tried to do it when I was working in the league. So it's
we got to get a Capitals management guest on soon, Pierre, because I think they're just one of the most quietest good stories on how you do it, like how you replenish your system and stay competitive at the same time. They are setting the perfect example right now.
Yeah, so I can tell you that, like, Chris Patrick is a general manager now. Brian McClellan is the president of hockey operation. I guess that's his title. Ross Mahoney has been there forever. As a chief scout. Bowman is there. Scotty Bowman's nephew is there. Stephen Bowman. And then Steve Richmond and Brooks Orpek see him on the road all the time. Danny Brooks does their college free agents. I think they're European free agents too. Like, they got a staff of professional people that's pretty amazing because I see them in so many different ranks. It's almost like, how many guys you got working? Because you're always around. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so they're keeping tabs. So good on them. But listen, another great week here on the Eye Test. I want to thank all our guests we had on all week. And, of course, thank you, the viewers and the listeners, and of course our man Shane working the boards up in Montreal. Pierre, another great week next week. I'm already starting to book the guest list, and we will have a great week again. And of course, we want to thank McLean's. We're really excited for getting that going right now for the 4 Nations. We'll have more details as we go on, and hopefully, like I said, a Boston location. So until then, until Monday, he's Pierre McGuire. I'm Jimmy Murphy. This has been another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.